I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
of the United
of the
States
United States of America,
and to the republic
to the republic
and
for which it stands,
one nation, under
one
God,
nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Doreen, can we have a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Amo,
Here.
Anagnostakis,
Present.
O'Donnell,
Here.
Sutherland,
Here.
Tortel,
Here.
Tui, and Sassy.
Here.
All present.
Okay, good to see everybody, and we have Commissioner Darcy Miller with us today, and basically a short agenda is to review her monthly report. Hopefully you had a time to look at it. The numbers look fairly consistent if you went through it carefully with a couple of bumps here and there, but I'll turn it over to Commissioner Miller. Darcy, yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. A very nice view, Chairman Sassy. Looks great.
Oh,
So if you look at our numbers, you're right. We continue to trend downward for both temporary assistance and safety net. We are preparing and ramping up for what we anticipate will be an increase in those numbers. As you know, the unemployment benefit is still active. We're concerned about what will happen when people start to run out of that unemployment benefit or the amounts get reduced. And certainly with schools being hybrid models or remote, parents will continue to have difficulties returning to the workplace as we go forward. So we are monitoring for that, and we'll be prepared for that increase as it comes. It's good to see that employment and training is starting to see a little rise in their numbers. As you see that trend, we went down significantly through social distancing and people not being able to go into work. So they are on the upward trend, and hope to see that continue over the next many months. Our SNAP has been one of our greatest challenges with the number of applications coming through. Many people who have applied are not eligible because of that increased unemployment benefit. Again, once that goes away, we'll see more people being eligible for SNAP, but we are, for the first time in many years, increasing the number of SNAP cases that we have. We're still processing HEAP payments. We're very close to being able to close out that year with significant amount being paid out in HEAP benefits for the 19-20 season. Our emergency housing placements, as you see, those numbers and averages are lower than ever, but they correspond with increase in hotel motel. That was really related to social distancing needs. We are, the Honor Shelter is receiving guests at the shelter now, so we'll start to see those numbers rise. Ironically, if you look at the chart underneath where it shows families, April, May, and June fell off the chart, and that's only because there's so few there that the chart didn't go down as low. We needed to adjust the sidebar numbers in order to have those numbers show on there. They were so low. Across the bottom, you see all of our other temporary housing placements, and then, pleased to see that those averages have maintained pretty consistently. We did have some reduction in, on the next page, our Project Life, which houses families in apartments for approximately 6 months. That number went down for a short period of time, but fortunately that number's gone back up again, and they're back up to census, so we're pleased to see that. And that's all I have on those numbers. I did talk to you all the last time about the good work that Terry Torchio and Nicole Anderson from Community Development are doing together with the Continuum of Care, really planning for the moratorium to be lifted on evictions. The last number that I received from Mental Hygiene Legal Services was there was 997 pending evictions. Those numbers, I'm sure, are increasing, and the challenges for people to pay their back rent to maintain their stable housing will be great. So we've put together a package. We're working together with all the funds that have come in through the county, whether through community development or through the cities, both Newburgh and Middletown, who've put out an RFP to try to be sure that we can assist families. So if anyone comes to your attention who's at risk of being evicted from their home, please be sure to call us. Call the 291-4000 number at DSS, and we will work to address their needs and keep them stably housed. Medicaid, no surprises in any of our Medicaid numbers. You see on the next page, our total through November was 105,304 individuals on Medicaid. Medicaid expenses laid out below. Our Child Protective Services, both traditional response and family assessment response, are back on the rise. You see in your charts, we tend to see an increase as the school year is ending. So typically around May, we have a dramatic increase in numbers of reports. And then, as we go through the summer, those numbers reduce and they start to go back up again in September. So even though we've continued to receive many reports, and you'll see those numbers there, and they are back on the rise. Our low month was really April, and pretty much we've gone back closer to normal as we've moved forward from there. As school starts back up, we anticipate we'll see an increase in those numbers again. We're pleased that children will have an opportunity to be in other environments, and we stand prepared to respond to whatever their needs might be. Raise the age numbers continue. We bring in, this was the program that we thought was going to cost $1 million, and, we reserved for the state to reimburse us for those expenses. Those numbers have really been minimal. The 450 youth we anticipated that would be arrested under the 16 and 17 age group and be impacted here, we've come nowhere near those numbers. And, the result has been positive. We're looking to do a youth center, a co-located center that would involve probation, mental health, and social services coming together in the same location. Due to COVID and social distancing needs, we have achieved the same outcome with a virtual connection between the three departments, providing services in collaboration with our community agencies. You may remember that in January, legislation changed, so any youth that went into residential placement under PINS, we would be responsible for covering the expense of that residential placement with county taxation. When we were going into January, so in November of last year, we had 7 PINS youth in placement. We were able to safely bring them back out to the community. They have wraparound supports to keep them in the community, and we have not placed any PINS youth this year. And that's really due to the credit goes to this collaboration between the three departments that's really supporting youth and being maintained in our community rather than going into residential facilities. At a cost savings to us, for sure. Foster care trending downward. It'll be interesting to see if that's attributable to us maybe not having children come to our attention, but for the most part, we really have been working hard to keep families together. You may also remember that you approved, I think it was late last year, funding that came in from the state for us to co-locate a substance abuse professional with our Child Protective Services. They have done a fabulous job working together and really working to keep children in the home, parents engaged in treatment, and have a better outcome for those families. They've done such a good job that I really am seeking increasing the FTEs in that collaboration. And again, that's due to both social services and our mental health staff. So very much appreciated. Child support trending as typical, trending a little average higher dollar amounts than previous years, but working hard. Our special investigations staff, I believe I mentioned that the state suspended the Fed's investigation during the COVID period. So that staff for a period of time was reassigned to assist with our SNAP applications, which I've said were tripled for a period of time. And they also assisted the health department with their tracer responsibilities. So they are back in the office in their unit doing their typical duties. So we'll see those numbers start to increase. And that's it for the monthly report this month. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Darcy, I had a question, real quick. Somebody else have a question? I'm sorry. Somebody else say something? Okay. Darcy, I know it always comes up, and I look through that. Can you just, for the committee, we talk about housing people in motels, and it's an incredible amount of money that is paid for that housing, but most of it's reimbursable. Could you just kind of touch upon that? Yes.
So, we did the pilot last year, which is working out very well with Honor, where we took 10 slots and added to housing first. So instead of putting people in motels, moving them into permanent housing under the housing first model, and that's been a very successful model. The reason why you see an increase in the motels right now, the motel usage, was really had to do with COVID social distancing. So it was, instead of having congregate living, the state encouraged us to move people into motels, hotels, so they could have some separation and reduce the potential spread of COVID. For families who have less than 60 months on benefits, we get fully reimbursed for that expense. For singles who go into hotels or motels, or who are temporarily housed, whether it's in a shelter or in the motels, we pay 72% of that cost with local taxation. So singles are much more costly to us. I will say, as expensive as hotels are, imagine that shelters are more expensive, because you have meals connected with them, you have laundry, you have transportation, you have support in getting them connected to permanent housing. So as costly as motels are, and they're not ideal because people are just left out there potentially without the kind of supports that can move them into permanent housing, shelters are really more expensive for us.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Commissioner?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman Sassy, Michael Amo.
Yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mr. Paul.
Hi, Commissioner. How's the Medicaid cuts looking as we get this far out from where we are? How does it look? What kind of expectation do we have? And I guess the second part of it is that, do we have any sense of what it's going to do to community health, community care?
Well, as you know, they took, I believe it was a 2% cut from hospital care and Medicaid. We, in the behavioral health side, we did not get hit with that cut. I think probably the most significant thing that we're going to experience in Medicaid locally for us right now, believe me, there's the gap in the state budget, which is, I think, $14.9 billion right now. And we don't know what that overall hit is going to be. Anyhow, stay with Medicaid for a minute. Is the look back. So there, for home care, it was processed similar to community Medicaid. As of October 1st, and there may be a pushback to January 1st, we need to do a 30-month look back before we can approve eligibility for Medicaid and allowing them to get home care services. The challenge with that, there's many challenges with that, but people didn't realize that they may have gifted funds, they may have sold a home and used their funds in some other way, but any funds that weren't put aside to contribute to their health and well-being will count against them in that 30-month look back, the same as it does for a long-term care facility. The difference is they're in their home and they won't be provided service while they await eligibility determination. Where that will hit us, as you see in our data, we have home care, and we typically, home care operated through local government was supposed to go away completely. That was the state's intention. We still maintain a caseload, and we still have a very small staff that operates that because it was necessary. Under this change in eligibility for Medicaid, we anticipate we could see an increase in the need there. We're going to be providing service without funding. We also have a challenge in our Medicaid unit because the workforce, the amount of time it takes to look back over 30 months and review all of that information is intensive. So we're going to struggle to manage the caseload, no question. Overall, the state currently is withholding some of the state reimbursement that should have already come our way, and you see that on our last page when you look at the state revenue. We anticipate that will come through, but in the comptroller's report that came out most recently, where social services have listed in determining projections, it says TBD, to be decided. So we're all kind of up in the air. We don't know.
Just to follow up, Darcy, the follow-up is the speculation that I've read about is people who need in-home care, Medicaid paid for care, that are pending the approval, would find themselves going into long-term care because they can go in and wait for approval.
That's right.
That's a double-edged sword, because if it is denied, our facility is going to be on the hook for the money, right? So we might be taking care of them for 30 or 60 days waiting for the approval. And when they don't get it, then we get the money. So
yeah, that is currently the situation in nursing homes today too. And not to mention, we have a finite number of skilled nursing slots, right? And that number is supposed to kind of match the need in the community. When you have a change in eligibility processing that could lead to an increase of applications for skilled nursing, we could find ourselves with not having enough beds in the county. And always, we meet with, my Medicaid staff meets with administration, the nursing homes across the county, including Valley View, to talk about applications we have pending. The reasons why you might be waiting is we might not have all of the financial data we need from the family in order to do the look back. And there may be issues. So long and short, we really try to get either turn down that, deem them ineligible, or work very quickly to find them eligible, because the nursing home is left with a bill that's not covered if they're determined to be ineligible for Medicaid.
just a fact question: how many people are in the case? How many cases of home health care do we have that are in the county that are currently getting the home health care through Medicaid?
Well, let me just say, it's operated through social services. I believe it's on page, it's 219 cases, I believe. That's just ours. But the number of people who are receiving home health care across this county, we have 219 open cases through the Department of Social Services. But if you look at the expense of Medicaid, you can get a sense of how much is being spent on home care, and it's a significant amount of money across the county. So much need that there aren't enough direct care workers to fill all of the hours.
Well, good luck. That's going to be a tough management juggle.
It is.
Okay.
No
Thank you.
question.
Thank you,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Lori, do you have a question? Okay, anyone else have a question for Commissioner Miller? Okay, seeing none, that concludes. Great to see everybody. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.
Same to you. Take good care.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes, yes.
Take care. It's Peter Toohey here. I tried to raise my hand and I ended up logging myself out.
Oh, I thought.
But I'm back.
Sorry.
I'm back now. And Commissioner, I just had a couple of questions for you. I got your one update, and it's regarding the water testing at the sewage treatment plants. You see that?
No.
No. Well, oh no, you know what? Health and mental health. Sorry, I'm a little ahead of myself.
Right. And you want to ask health that question, because that's one thing it doesn't fall in my bailiwick.
Okay, I just have one other quick one for you. You've been opening up the satellite clinics at the high schools.
Yes.
And as schools about to open, just like everyone else, our youth and our students are feelings of uncertainty, fear, the unexpected. And I just wanted to know, I think Middletown was already completed, right? Chester and Monroe were in the works. And I just wanted to get an update, mainly in my district. I think Chester's probably up and running too. I just wondered if Monroe's up and running, and will it be at the start of this year?
No, it is not. In fact, Monroe Woodbury, it's still their attorneys communicating with our attorneys to get the MOU in place. So no, they have not been able to come to terms yet. I do believe the Monroe Woodbury School District, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they starting remote?
I think for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're go remote first couple of weeks. What we do believe is coming forward is there's going to be some federal funding, which we've identified agencies that will assist with implementing. It's about 1.5 million that'll come into Orange County specific for assisting with COVID. Our thinking here in the Department of Mental Health is that we would like them to really target those teams of counselors to do exactly that, to help students adjust, to help families adjust, to help teachers, along with, of course, the healthcare workers and the essential workers who've been working all along, and those families who've lost loved ones. But it's going to be about a 9-month project, and we'll have a very dedicated focus to helping our community survive and improve their mental wellness through this COVID experience. Seems to make good sense to me that they would be available for schools, in addition to the satellite that we're certainly trying to open in Monroe Woodbury.
Yeah, because the last I understood was from the superintendent, it was a while back, that they had the spot for you, they had the perfect spot, everything seemed like it was on go. And now what kind of, I can't imagine what kind of legal issues there would be to help children in our schools.
Yeah.
What the holdup, it's crazy.
Yeah, we've run into this difficulty in other districts have been able to work it out and are able to be more flexible. And then and it really depends on attorneys are very specific and unique in their perception, their legal beliefs. So hopefully we'll be able to work it out. And I know the superintendent, Elsie Rodriguez, is very determined and will do what she can to help make that happen.
All right, and I'll talk to Elsie too, because I'd like to know which side of the attorneys are holding this up.
It's not ours. I don't think. I could be
Okay.
wrong. Maybe her perception is different. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Commissioner.
Sure.
Darcy.
Great, thank you. Any other questions for the commissioner? Okay, very good. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
bye.
Take care.